Claude just made a massive upgrade to their design tool, Claude Design. They rebuilt it completely from the ground up, and this new version finally stopped burning through your Claude limit. Now here's the catch, to actually use it, you need a paid Claude subscription. But there's also a free open source version of it that gives you almost the same thing. And if you've got a ChatGPT or Gemini subscription, you can run that free version without paying a single penny. And here's the promise, by the end of this video, you'll go from a complete beginner to building 5 real things on your own. Things that normally take hours by hand. We'll also set up that free version together step by step, so you can run all of this without paying for Claude. And obviously I'll share every prompt, the brand files and the link to that free tool in my WhatsApp community Staying Ahead. You can find the link in the description so that you can build along with me and end up learning this powerful tool. Now let's get into it. So let's start where you already are, on Claude.ai, the normal Claude chat you use every day. Look at the left sidebar. There's a small design icon, the one shaped like a ruler and a pen. Let's click it and we're inside Claude Design. Brand new screen. It asks what we want to design today with one box to type in and a few options sitting above it. Let me walk you through those options first, because once you know them, the rest is easy. Up top, let's open templates. So you can make a prototype, slides, a document, a wireframe, or an animation. You can also start from a blank page. We'll use most of these by the end. Next to that is design system. Let's leave this one alone for now. We'll set it up properly in a bit, and it's the thing that makes everything come out looking like your brand. Then there's the model. Let's pick Claude Opus 4.8, the most capable one. And this little plus is where you'd attach your own things, a Figma file, your code from GitHub, that kind of stuff. So here's build number 1, a slide deck. The most common thing people make here. Let's click slides. Now here's the part that saves the work. We're not writing a single slide ourselves. We're going to start from something that already exists. So let's go to my YouTube channel, to a video I made called Forget Prompt Engineering. This is what actually matters in AI. It's all about the ADAPT framework, how a complete beginner actually gets good at AI. Let's open the transcript of that video and copy the whole thing. And if you're new to that word, a transcript is just the full text of everything said in the video. That's it. We're going to hand that text to Claude and let it do the heavy lifting. Back in Claude Design, let's paste that whole transcript into the box. And underneath it, let's tell Claude what we want. In plain English, like we're talking to a person. Something like, this is a video on how to learn AI and the ADAPT framework. Now build me a beginner-friendly 0 to Pro AI learning roadmap from this transcript, and let's hit send. Now watch what it does. It doesn't just throw a deck at us. It comes back and asks a few questions first, the same way a good designer would before starting anything. It wants to know what format we want, and since we're building a presentation, let's go with the slide deck. Quick side note, see this option that says decide for me? If you ever can't be bothered to pick, you can let Claude choose for you, but let's do it properly. Next it asks who this is for, and for us, that's complete beginners. People who are just getting curious about AI, so let's choose that. Then it asks how much detail to put on each stage. And since our video is full of tools and steps, let's go with full and see how it handles all that information. For the look and feel, let's tell it to explore a few options for us. For colors, the default is that dark Claude style, which we don't really want on our own brand. So instead of picking a color, let's just type decide for me based on my audience. It asks whether to include the actual tool names, and yes, those really help beginners. It asks about adding a call to action, and that's fine too. And the last one just asks if there's anything else we want to add, and there isn't, so let's continue. And now it gets to work. Look at the left panel. It's thinking and it's writing out something it calls a scratch pad, which is really just it planning the whole thing before it builds a single slide. Then it starts building slide by slide right in front of us. This takes a couple of minutes, so it's sped up here. And there it is. Look at this. From one YouTube transcript, Claude built a full 23 slide deck. Slide 1, ADAPT, a beginner's roadmap to AI. Then a slide on why this matters now with real numbers on it. Then the whole framework laid out, one slide for each letter, acknowledge, dabble, amplify, problem solve, tie together. There's even a starter toolkit slide with the tools on it. 23 slides from one video, and we designed nothing. And this is where the new version really shows itself. This deck isn't just a picture you stare at, it actually presents. Let me show you. Up in the top right, let's click present and then in this tab. And it opens a presenter view, the exact thing you get in PowerPoint or Google Slides. The current slide is here, the next slide is previewed on the side, there's a running timer, and down here are speaker notes, the words you'd actually say out loud for each slide, written for you. We can pause the timer whenever. Let's hit escape to come out of it. And if you'd rather just run it on a screen, let's click present again and choose full screen. And there's your deck, full screen, ready to present in a room. Escape again. There's even a new tab option, which opens the whole thing in a clean viewer in its own tab. So this is a real presentation tool now, not just a design. That's the big change. Now, what if something's wrong and you just want to fix it yourself? In the old version, you couldn't. Here you can. Let's find the edit toggle in the top right and switch it on. Now let's click straight into the title text on the slide. See this little toolbar that pops up? It's just like any text editor. Let's add to the title 0 to hero. Now let's highlight those words and make them bold or italic or underlined. We can turn them into a bullet list or a numbered list. We can even add a link. So let's grab the YouTube URL and paste it right in. So you can edit any text on any slide directly without prompting, and that helps in saving Claude. And in the hook, we should play an angle where we are saying something new has come, just released or something like that. Keep it short. Then you can say masterclass, and then you can do a listing of the listicles like that. Tokens as well. Now, look at the left panel while we're in edit mode. There are 3 tabs here, Simple, Pro, and Code. Let me show you all 3, and I'll tell you exactly which one is for you. Simple is for everyone. Let's open it. This is your typography, the font, the size, the weight, the color. Let's change the font, try Playfair Display, and that's not quite it. So let's switch to Poppins. We can drag the size up or down. We can change the color. Let's make this text white. We can change the weight to light. There are even shapes and a pen if you want to draw on a slide. So that's simple, and for most of you, simple is all you'll ever touch. Now let's click Pro. I know this panel looks like a cockpit. Here's the thing, you do not need it. This is for designers who want to control every pixel, the exact width and height, the spacing, the padding, the layers, the way things line up. If that's you, it's all here. The same controls you'd get in a proper design tool. If that's not you, just know it exists and move on. Nothing breaks if you never open it. And the last tab, Code. Let's click it. When you select anything on the slide, this shows you the actual code behind it. This one's for developers. If you're not a developer, then you can completely ignore this tab. Let's not keep any of these changes, so let's hit discard and the slide goes right back to how it was. Nothing you try in here is permanent until you save it. Now, let's go back to the chat side. If you want to restyle things but you're not sure exactly what to ask for, there's tweaks. Let's open it. And if you have no idea, click ideas and Claude suggests a change and applies it for you. Now it gives us a little panel of options. We can switch the whole color palette, forest for green, indigo for blue, plum for pink, mono for black and white. We can change the fonts. We can change the background tones. And once you like a combination, let's click save as default so it sticks. Here's one that surprised me. Comments. Let's click the comments tab and then click anywhere on the slide to drop a little pin, the same way you leave a note in Google Slides or Canva. Let's type a quick note. Say, change this title to something cleaner. Normally, a note like that just sits there until a human deals with it. But here, let's click resolve with Claude and watch Claude reads the note, makes the change itself and closes it. So you can leave feedback like you would for a teammate, and the teammate doing the work is Claude. There's one more, and it's my favorite way to give feedback. Markup. Let's click it, and now let's just draw a box around the word adapt on the title slide and type what we want. Something like connect adapt to its full form in a cleaner way. Let's send that. It thinks for a moment and then it redoes that part of the slide, linking each letter to what it stands for exactly where we circled. So you point at the thing, you tell it what you want, and it changes that thing. That's simple. A couple of small ones so you know they're there. Over in the left panel, under pages, you can add a fresh blank page and start something new, or delete one you don't want. Let's get rid of this one and stay on our roadmap. And there's an all project files view where Claude keeps everything it built neatly organized. You don't need to touch any of it. Claude's handling that for you. It's just there if you're ever curious. And you don't always have to do things by hand. Let's go back to the chat and just ask. Let's type. Add the icons and logos for all the tools mentioned in the deck. Send it. It works for a moment, and when we come back to the starter toolkit slide, every tool now has its logo sitting next to it. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, all plays neatly. So between editing by hand and just asking in chat, you've got both. So build one is good, but there's one problem. It doesn't look like your brand yet. The colors, the fonts, they're Claude's choices, not yours. And before we make the next 4 builds, this is the one setup that fixes that for all of them at once. A design system. So what is a design system? In plain English, it's your brand's rule book. Your colors, your fonts, your spacing, the way your buttons and cards look, all written down in one place. Once Claude has it, everything it makes for you comes out in your brand automatically, without you explaining it every single time. That's the whole idea. Let me build one so you can see it. There are 2 ways in. Let's go to Design Systems and click Setup, or use this floating button in the bottom corner. Same thing. A box pops up with 2 choices, create here or create using Claude Code. Claude Code gives the highest fidelity if you've got an actual code base, but for most people, let's just click create here. Now a form opens asking about our company. Let's give it a name and a quick line about who we are. We'll call it Staying Ahead and say a community of curious AI folks who want to become pro users of AI. So that's who the brand is in one sentence. Then it asks for any design material we have. You can link your GitHub, link code from your computer, upload a Figma file, or just add fonts, logos, and assets. This is the part people overthink. You don't need a fancy brand kit. Let's just drop in a screenshot of our colors and fonts, and that's enough. You can also type extra notes about your brand voice if you want, but we'll keep it simple. Let's continue to generation. It tells us this takes about 5 minutes, so let's hit generate, and here's what it gives back, a full design system. We didn't even upload a logo, and it still made us a Staying Ahead one. Then the brand colors, the neutral shades, the colors for things like errors and success, and the building blocks, forms, inputs, checkboxes, navigation, spacing, the corner roundness, the type sizes, the buttons, the cards, all of it ready to use. So now let's go back to build one and put it into this brand. Let's open the design system panel on the deck. It says no design systems yet, which just means we need to refresh the page. Let's do that, open it again, and now our Staying Ahead system is there. So let's pick it. And here's the payoff. Let's go to the chat and type one line, convert the whole deck to our design system. That's it. One sentence, and it goes through every single one of those 23 slides and reskins them in our colors, our fonts, our look. We didn't redo a single slide by hand, night and day. And this is the thing to really hold on to, because it's why the next 4 builds are so fast. You build a brand once, and from here on, everything you make just inherits it automatically. Build 2, a document, and watch how quick this is now that the brand exists. Same content as the deck in completely different format. Let's go back, refresh, pick our Staying Ahead system again, and this time choose the document template. Let's make an infographic. We'll use the exact same video transcript as before. Let's paste it in and type. Draft a 1-page roadmap infographic for this. Send it. And because our design system is already attached, what comes back is the same content as our deck, but as a single on-brand infographic in our colors, without us doing anything extra. 2 builds down, both from one video. Build 3, a social carousel. Let's take that 1-page roadmap and make it social. First, the export options, because you'll want these. Let's click export. You can pull it down as a PDF, as a PowerPoint, as a project file, or a standalone HTML to put it on the web. So whatever you need it as, it's here. But let's repurpose it instead. Let's use the voice option and just say, make an Instagram carousel of this. And it turns our 1-pager into a proper social carousel, slide by slide, in our brand, dark slides with our green accents. It's ready to post, and if we wanted, we could ask it to add icons or change anything. So that's 3, a deck, an infographic, and a carousel, all from one video, all on one brand. Build 4, an animation. And this one can borrow another tool to help. So let me show you that first. Up on the plus in the top left, there's Manage Connectors. This is where Claude links to other tools, your GitHub, your Google Drive, Slack, and the one we want, Higgsfield. A connector is just a bridge that lets Claude use another tool here to generate images or video when it needs them. So with Higgsfield connected, Claude can call it mid-build. Now let's make an animated launch video for our WhatsApp community. Let's pick the animation template and type, make an animated launch video for the Staying Ahead WhatsApp community, and use Higgsfield if you need any images or video. Then it asks a stack of settings, the aspect ratio, the length, the motion vibe, the energy, all of it. Let's just hit decide for me on everyone and let Claude choose. Continue, and here's what comes back. a clean kinetic text animation, a green highlight on become the pro user of AI, a little chat mockup, a counter ticking landing on a join the WhatsApp community card. One drop a week, no spam. For a text-based launch video like this, it didn't even need Higgsfield. It just animated the text itself. And for a launch clip or a quick promo, that works really well. Now, one thing, so you point this at the right job. When we pushed it the other way, toward a complex artistic scene from a reference image, that's when it called Higgsfield to generate the picture. And it floated a few elements around with some sparkle. But it isn't doing real layer by layer animation the way an editor would in After Effects, because these run on HTML and CSS. So for clean text, launch videos and promos, it's great. For heavy artistic work, that's still an editor's job. Build 5, and this one's different, an actual page someone could use. Two templates do this, Wireframe and Prototype. Quick plain version, a wireframe is the rough skeleton of a page and a prototype is the polished interactive version of it. You can build either one on its own here. Let's start with the wireframe. Let's click that template and type build a small landing page for the Staying Ahead community to join the WhatsApp community and add a small form for their details. Send it. And again, it asks a few quick questions first. It wants to know which fields to collect. So let's say full name, email, WhatsApp number, their role, and their city. It asks what happens after someone submits. So let's choose show a success message with a join WhatsApp button. And it asks about the layout. So let's keep it a simple centered column. Let's continue. It builds for a moment, and here's the page. It grabbed our brand logo on its own, wrote a headline, joined the WhatsApp where we stay ahead, and laid out the full form with every field we asked for and a join button. Now we clicked wireframe, but that already looks close to finished. So let's see what the prototype adds. Let's copy that same prompt, go back to the home page, paste it in, and this time click the prototype template. Send. It asks a richer set of questions this time, which is the difference. It asks about the fields again, and now also about a company field, the headline style, what the success state should do, and whether to show social proof like a member count. Let's say yes to the member count. Let's continue. This one takes a bit longer because it's more complete. And here's the prototype. A bold headline, become the pro user of AI. The full form with realistic example details already filled in so you can see how it'll look. A bright green join the WhatsApp community button and a little member count badge for social proof. It's a polished interactive page. To actually make that form work and collect real signups, we hand it to Claude Code. So let's do that. Up in Share, you've got the same export options, PDF, project file, PowerPoint, HTML, but look at this other tab, Send To. You can push this design straight to Claude Code to turn it into a real working website. There's a whole list of other places too, and for a live page like this, the ones that make sense are the website builders, Wix, Vercel, Lovable, Replit. The one we'll use is Claude Code, so let's click it. It opens a little box that gives you a command to copy or lets you download the files or open it in Claude Code on the web. So you design the page here and you take it to code to ship it for real. And this is the one I told you about at the start, the move almost nobody finds. Let's go back to the home page and open our design system, the Staying Ahead one. Let's open it in its own tab. There's our whole brand, the colors, the fonts, the components. Now let's click Share, Send To, and Claude Code. Here's why this matters. Normally, every time you ask an AI to build you a page, you have to re-explain your whole brand, your colors, your fonts, all of it, and that burns through your usage fast. But when you send your design system to Claude Code like this, Claude Code already has your brand as ready-made building blocks. So it builds every landing page and website straight from your brand without you describing it again. You set your brand up once and you stop spending tokens on the same thing over and over again. Because of this trick, you end up saving a huge amount of tokens. Now, I saved the best for the very end because everything we just did still runs on your Claude subscription. So what if you wanted to do all of this without that? There's a free open source tool built as an alternative to Claude Design, and it's called Open Design. You'll find it at open-design.ai. It's got a desktop app for Mac, so let's download it. And I'll drop the full setup, the links, all the files I'm using in the WhatsApp community, so you can just follow along from there. So here's the clever bit. Open Design doesn't have its own paid model. It runs on top of whatever AI agent you already have. Codex, Claude Code, Gemini, Cursor, a whole list of them. So you're not paying for another subscription on top. You point it at one you already use and it just works. And that's exactly what's going to make this almost free. You'll see in a second. First thing, let's bring our brand over so we're not starting from scratch. Remember that design system we built earlier in Claude Design? Let's just carry it across. So let's hop back into Claude Design, open the design system and hit share, then export. Let's grab it as a project zip. Now back in Open Design, let's click add, pick that zip and tell it to extract the design system. And watch, it pulls our whole Staying Ahead brand in. Now it's not a pixel perfect copy, a couple of things move around, but our colors, our fonts, the overall feel, it's all here. So the brand we set up once is already working in a second tool. And before we build, look at everything it can make. Slide decks, wireframes, mobile apps, documents, motion graphics, even images, posters, videos, and voiceovers. It's actually got more options than Claude Design. But let's keep it simple and do the exact same thing we did before, a slide deck. Now, when you first set it up, it asks which AI agent you want to run it on. I tried one called Hermes first and it didn't connect for me, so let's just go back into settings and pick a different one. And here's everything you can install: Claude Code, Codex, Gemini, Open Code, and more. There's even one called Anti-Gravity that hands you free credits if you want to go as cheap as possible. But let's use Codex, and here's why. Because this is the part that matters for a lot of you. Not everyone watching has a Claude subscription, or maybe you've already burned through your usage. That's completely fine. A huge number of people already have a ChatGPT subscription sitting right there, and you can plug that straight into Open Design through Codex. So you can run this entire thing on something you're already paying for, nothing extra. Now, to install it, clicking the button opens GitHub. And I know GitHub looks intimidating if you're not a coder. So here's the move. Don't read any of it. Let's just copy that GitHub link, paste it into Codex and say, install the Codex CLI for me. It asks for permission. We say yes, and it does the whole thing itself. That's the trick with all of this. Anytime AI throws GitHub at you, you don't decode it. You just hand the link to your AI and let it do the work. Once it's installed, let's come back, hit rescan, and now Codex shows up. Let's pick it and click test just to make sure it's actually connected. And it's working. Done. Now let's do the exact same thing we did in Claude Design. Home tab, slide deck, and let's paste in the same prompt we used before. Send it. And just like before, it comes back with a few questions. How many slides? Let's say 15. What's it for? The ADAPT framework. The tone, let's keep it premium. How closely to follow the script? Let's turn it into a teaching deck with speaker notes. Continue, and Codex starts building it out. And here's what comes out: a full ADAPT slide deck built by a free tool running on an agent you already pay for. And it does pretty much everything Claude Design did. You can flip between desktop, tablet, and mobile views. You can drop a comment or mark up a slide and send it straight to the agent to fix. You can edit the text, present it full screen, export it as HTML, or push it to your coding tools. So that's the whole thing. Almost everything Claude Design does in a free open source tool running on whatever AI you've already got. And by the way, that design system file, the exact prompts, the brand setup I just used, they're all waiting in the WhatsApp community. If you want to copy this exact workflow instead of rebuilding it from scratch, that's where it is. Free, link in the description. So let's step back and count it up. From one video and a few sentences, we built 5 things: a slide deck, a one-page infographic, a social carousel, an animated launch video, a full landing page. Everyone on our own brand and not one of them designed by hand. And then we handed it to Code to ship for real. If you want to see where this goes next, I just made a full walkthrough on Claude Code, the tool we ended on, and it's right here. Go watch that one next. And if you want more of these proper detailed AI builds that make you more capable at your work, subscribe, because the next one is already coming.